of us having just received the June 2022 ACCA results, and it's expected, in the exam sessions, not all students pass, but it's important for us as tutors to take stock of what is it really that is contributing to suboptimal performance at times when it comes to students, especially the critical marks, the 49, the 47, the 40s. Ideally, any mark from 44 through to 49, it's not something that we can say the student doesn't know stuff. There is a lot of things which are contributing into getting that mark, which we feel we need to discuss with specific reference to Zim market, to Zimbabwean students, so to speak. So, as teachers, let us now have an honest brainstorming session where we know the profile of our students, we know the benchmark, we know the targets which ACCA set, we know the ideal candidate, which is an ideal ACCA member, which as a board they want to bring forth, and the competencies and the skills required of that ideal ACCA member. We want to explore whether the students, do they really know what ACCA is looking at when they are awarding this particular qualification. So the main objective of this discussion again is to encourage students to register armed with the information which we are going to explore in this discussion. We then want them to register for the upcoming September 2022 exam session. This is an attempt to really help students in a frank and objective fashion on the basis of them appreciating the board, the professional accountants organization which they have joined, which is ACCA, coming from various backgrounds. Some have been exempted, the applied skills levels, a lot of other things, and the inherent phobias which the students might have concerning specific subjects and stuff. So we are going to have our discussion in sessions. The first session is exam results. I'm jotting down on my piece of paper here, exam results.
Okay.
So if we can just have, say, 5 minute discussions on each. The second session is it's like technical skills required, technical content. On technical content, we want to broaden it, like we want to bring to the fore the issue of professional accountancy exams vis-a-vis academic exams. That okay. They don't just, we want to, can they synchronize on the go so that students can have the comfort of, say, I'm studying alone, coming from a university, and they are writing a subject like, say, SBR. Do they really synchronize, or what? The technical content and the skills that the examiner requires. So this is going to be the last part, which is application. If we can, I'm sure this installment will be escalated judging by the feedback. So we can consider it the first installment, and we need to be doing this each and every week as we prepare students for revision. So you as students, after playing the video, you need to give us feedback as to was this really helpful, and what other information you may need, especially if you can say everything you have discussed in this particular video. I've tried my level best to achieve this, but for whatever reason I'm still getting 49. We can then consult and issue an additional installment with perhaps teachers from other colleges as well. So with me here, my name is Mr. Mupatsi. I'm the tutor for Artlands Resources. With me is Grace, our business development manager, and Grace oversees the enrollment process, meaning Grace has the burden of communicating all these things to students, and I know she tries her level best. And with us also is Ms. Brighton Sebita, our tutor again at Artlands Resources. So first, as a lead speaker, I'll be saying something, and then our colleagues will join. The first discussion item is on exam results. Exam results. You know, we are witnessing that from a college perspective, the results were not that much disappointing. There was an incremental, there was an increase in pass rates from the last results, which is overall commendable. Overall, it's commendable. But there were some painful results that we noticed. The critical mark results, 47 through to 49, and the other results like 44 and stuff. Now, my colleagues will join, but this is what I have really noted. So I'm sure everyone is seeing my screen here. Okay. You know, there is need for students to really appreciate what ACCA is looking for when they are marking these particular exams. The first thing is all ACCA exams are compulsory. All questions are compulsory. If I can zoom it, is it? Okay, allow me to zoom it. I'm trying to zoom this thing up. Whatever reason, it's not okay. It has zoomed. All ACCA exam questions are compulsory. This is something that we need to know. Compulsory nature of the exam distinguishes them in a significant way from academic exams. You know, academic exams where like our degrees and stuff, where you have got coursework, you have coursework which contributes to the final exam marking and stuff. ACCA exams are not like that. They are compulsory, meaning the instruction reads compulsory and must be attempted. It reads compulsory and then must be attempted. Always note it's compulsory and must be attempted. So what it means here is we do have two instructions here. We have it's compulsory and we have and must be attempted. But students tend to equate this to be one thing, to say if something is compulsory, they think it must be attempted. Yet must be attempted is a separate instruction or on its own. So we do have a student, suppose now an exam has got 4 sections, let's say 3 sections, for example. We do have section A. Let me take a classic exam like PM, performance management, where we have got section, can I say SA for section A, SB for section B, and SC for section C. Now, you do notice here, it's out of 30 marks, 30 marks, and 40 marks. You have this in the exam. So what then happens is we do have now a variety of students, which we can say ST1, student 1. Suppose this is student 1. Student 1 is a student who acknowledges that the exam is out of 100, so I must score something and cross over be above 50. So as a student 1, you can say you can score 26 here, and here you score what? 28 here, and because of time, you proceed here and score 5. How many marks do you have as a student here? Let me. I want to put my things in a more legible fashion. Yes, you will notice this particular student gets 31, 33 plus 26, which is 59 marks. 59. It's more likely that come the actual exam result, this student is likely to have 49. It's most likely that this student is going to have 49. Why? Because these sections are compulsory. Let me repeat. These sections are compulsory. The student which is being required by the examiner must demonstrate competencies on all these sections. So the compulsory nature of a section means that should you fail it, it's most likely not to be compensated by more marks you get elsewhere. Let me put it this way. So if you get, say, 0 on section C because of time up, you were timed out. Are you telling me that in this exam you are going to get 54? If you can, even if you have to mark it yourself, will you give yourself 54? Yet section C is compulsory. So the bottom line, are you seeing that, Grace? Well, yes.
It's very, very, very impossible indeed.
Yes, because you can't give yourself 54 when you have got 0 on a compulsory section. So that one is unfortunately, say most students, they don't understand this particular part. They think compulsory means if you proceed to fail that particular section, which is compulsory, you proceed to fail it, it's compensated by more marks you get elsewhere.
From other sections that are optional. Yes, that's what most of students think about.
Yes. Because if I fail this section, for example, I get 0 because I'm timed out, and I fail this section, what is going to happen is, though I have got 54, but this section on its own was compulsory, meaning it was not supposed to be attempted, but to be passed. So compulsory, it's like you have to attempt it, but not just merely attempting it, because if you attempt it and you get 0, if you addressed the imagine say you attempt it and you get 3 out of 40. You say, because it was compulsory, I at least attempted it, but you got 3 after attempting it. So the question now that comes is, are you thinking that you have addressed the compulsory aspect of it, or you have merely addressed the attempted aspect of it?
purely you did not.
Yes.
You didn't.
Because there is the attempted part. So students normally think that by at least I attempted section C and I got 3 because I attempted it.
Out of 30, probably. Out of 30. Out of 30.
Yes. It's actually out of 40.
Out of 40. Or 50.
So the student will think, I have at least attempted section C. But notice, it's not like section C must be attempted. The instruction is not saying section C must be attempted. So you have just answered the must be attempted part. The instruction is saying is compulsory. So if you addressed the compulsory part of that section, no. Unfortunately, you just proceed and think, because on a mark count, it's 26 plus 28 plus 3. So it will be what? That's 54 plus 3. So you'll be saying, I've got 57. No. So we need to agree on this part. We are, as you know, as tutors, we are recording this video specifically with students in mind. Because if you don't know this, you are going to suffer a lot. You say, Biza, what happens is students think they know a topic when they are doing section A and section B questions. Put simply, multiple choice questions. So you do notice students will be doing variance analysis, multiple choice questions, budgeting, multiple choice questions, and move on to the next topic. Life cycle costing, multiple choice questions.
That's true.
Investment appraisal, multiple choice questions. So multiple choice questions, they put you in a comfort zone. You fantasize. What do I mean by that? You think like you know when you don't even know anything, because they lack application of technical content to a scenario. Yet application is basically what the examiners are looking for. So students normally they are in their comfort zones of just thinking they know a particular topic by merely, especially applied skills level students. They think they know a topic by merely knowing multiple choice. Yet section C was, so now there's a student number 2 who has played this video and who is now astute in mind. Student number 2 knows that these sections are compulsory and they must be attempted. So as a student number 2, I can start with my section C. There are 2 20-mark questions on section C. So it's actually 2 by 20 here. Section C is 2 by 20-mark questions, giving us 40. So student number 2 may answer the first question and get, say, 15. The second question and get, say, 10. And this student has got 25 on this section. Now, because of time, the student comes to section A, gets 20. The student comes to section B, gets 16. You know, there's no way you can get 15 because each question here is 2 marks. There are multiple choice for questions for 2 marks. So this student has got 36 plus 25. So this student has got 61. And the student proceeds to get 61. Are you getting it? This is student now. What are the differences between student number 1 and student number 2? Student number 1 knows PM, but does not know PM exam. Are you getting it? Student number 2 is a student who knows PM, but doesn't understand PM exam. Student number 2 is a clever student who knows that we are alive to be serious with life. And student number 2 doesn't take things for granted, doesn't take the word compulsory for granted, knowing that student number 2 can suffer from exam preparedness or from time, can be timed out and stuff. Student number 2 is clever enough to tackle the compulsory aspects of the sections first, to make sure that compulsory does not mean must be attempted, but must be passed. So student number 2 is aware of that. It's not just addressing must be attempted, but must be passed, meaning compulsory. With that in mind, student number 2 is not like fantasizing with marks. How can you get 28 out of 30 in section B and proceed to be timed out. So were you really clever in that? Student number 2 knows that those are dangerous things to do. So student number 2 knows that time is of an issue. So if I'm convinced that on section B I've got 16, but still I haven't answered section C, I need to go to section C. Make sure I address compulsory nature and must be attempted. Don't just attempt section C, but address compulsory nature, pass it, cross the pass mark on section C again. And then I wrap up my issue on section B, or section A. So this student is a very clever student. So if we go to student number 3, student number 3 who is super clever and just an average student knows that if I get 16 here, and I get 16 here, and I get my 20 here, I'm up. So I get 32 plus 20, which is 52, and this student has got 52. Notice, student number 2, student number 3 doesn't stress him or herself much with life. He knows that life, at times you need to just address the competencies the examiner is requiring and then move on. So what is the difference between student number 1 and student number 3? That's where you see students saying, oh, are you telling me that Susan has failed? You know, Susan used to teach us during discussion forums. Because clearly Susan, which is student number 1, knows quite a lot. If you compare Susan with student number 3, you do notice that student number 3 was actually learning from Susan during discussions. But why is it student number 3 has got 52 and Susan has got 49? It's because Susan on section C just addressed must be attempted, ignoring compulsory part. Yes, student just went for must be attempted and then just attempted, got 3 marks. Yet the question was saying compulsory, meaning you have to display competencies to satisfy examiners in that area. That's what it means. Compulsory means display the competencies required and to examiner satisfaction for us to give you PM. That's what they are saying. They are not saying just attempt it anyhow and get it 2 marks. And then it's okay if we add up the 2 to the other, you have got 50. So it's an ongoing thing. What we have said in this section applies to FR, applies to FM, applies to audit, applies to, though audit doesn't have section 3 sections, but the compulsory aspects of things apply to that. And it also applies to text. Can you imagine you are writing text, for example, and just for illustrative purposes, the question on VAT, you get 0. Even if you proceed to get 20 out of 20 on capital gains tax, and then the question on VAT, you get 0. So which company are you going to work for? You are busy getting 20 out of 20 on deceased estates and trusts. Those questions, you know them pretty cool, but on VAT, which any company you are going to work for, that's what you are going to say. You are timed out on a VAT question. You say, I was timed out. So why were you too busy with deceased estates and trusts? The things you never come across in life, and no wonder why you know what, Grace? Normally, taxation on deceased estates, it will be done by those who are alive when you have died. and can you imagine, you are proceeding to get 18 out of 20 on that, and then on question on VAT, you are timed out. Even if we say mark it for yourself, I don't think you give yourself 7 out of 100 that you are purporting to have got. Okay, so continuing with our discussion, we now want to proceed to application actually. In ACCA exams, marks are not awarded for. It's rare, especially at strategic professional level. Marks are not awarded for demonstration of knowledge. No. Marks are awarded for application. So Grace, let me tackle the strategic professional level part, and then you address the applied skills part. I just want to talk about strategic professional exams. Strategic professional level exams. This is the final level actually in the ACCA exams. Ideally, you have to do a module which is called Ethics and Professional Skills module, and that module helps you to cross over to strategic professional level exams. But this module can be done even concurrently with the level itself, because it's you just pay once-off investment of £60. You can fail it as many times as you want, but you don't pay an additional fee until you pass it. It is called Ethics and Professional Skills exam, EPSM, and Professional Skills module. Ethics and Professional Skills module. This is a very, very important module. Don't underestimate it, because it helps you to be accredited into the Professional Accountancy Board, ACCA, and also helps you to get your, if you want to have Oxford Brookes degree after wrapping up the applied skills, you still need to do that. It's a very, very important module. Make sure you do it. But nowadays, from September 2022, the exams have changed. There are now professional skills marks, which are also part of the exam. Professional skills marks. And I'm sure you know this. If you have done SBL, you might have an appreciation of what these professional skills marks are. These are the critical skills which are expected of a modern day accountant. And the examiners are saying, look, don't just be of the orientation where you are academically positioned. You have got academic orientation as you are approaching ACCA exams, especially at the strategic level. You must demonstrate the critical skills which an accountant of the day of today can add value in an organization. So most exams now at this level, you notice, they are simulated real life business questions or case studies, where a lot of information will be given in the form of exhibits. And you now have to get relevant points from the exhibits which have collated for you to help you answering the questions. And as you are answering the questions, these marks are, these professional skills are being considered. So critical for you to function as an accountant. Evaluation skills, criticism skills, analysis skills, communication skills. You know, accounting is not about number crunching. Accounting, the role of an accountant nowadays, it's no longer about numbers, because there are information systems, off-shelf information systems, which are now doing all sorts of numbers and stuff, like Pastel, QuickBooks. The traditional role of an accountant since shifted to modern. It's no longer about numbers, but the role of an accountant is now a financial consultant in an organization. Meaning, you need to synthesize the numbers, communicate what these numbers mean to those who are charged with governance, and help them to inform strategy in a manner which convicts them to act based on your consults. That's the role of an accountant. And how can you now discharge such a role? You discharge such a role by demonstrating these skills: evaluation skills, skepticism skills, analysis skills, commercial acumen. Commercial acumen. You know, commercial acumen means speak like a business person. That's what commercial acumen is. Don't, you know, commercial acumen is like this bit. Suppose we are into a construction company. An accountant would say, the firm, suppose we have just won a tender in Zambia to construct a road. We are based in Zimbabwe and want to go to Zambia. What are the non-financial factors we need to consider? And then professional skills marks are available for demonstrating commercial acumen. We want to construct a road. An accountant would say, we have to look for availability of raw materials, availability of labor. You know, this is the classic textbook stuff. But a person with commercial acumen would say, when are we starting to construct the road? If it's in September, won't it be raining in Zambia?
Yes.
That's a person who speaks like a business person.
True.
If we are to get raw materials from, we need to check the terrain in Zambia. Is it a flat terrain or mountainous terrain, so that we can get additional engineers there to perhaps drill the mountains and do such kind of stuff? That's not a person who just say, we need to check whether there is availability of skilled labor. No. So you can sense what commercial acumen is. Speak in a manner that those in that company understand what you are saying. Because if you are addressing board members, there's a production manager in the board. There's IT director in that board.
Engineers.
And do they really understand when you are saying availability of skilled labor, availability of technology? Say it out in a manner which is, number one, actionable, number two, understandable, number three, you demonstrate awareness to the external environment and to the internal environment, environmental factors which the company is facing. And clearly, these skills now, they constitute 20 marks in your exam, any strategic level exam. So I'm saying analysis, skepticism. Now, in addition to these, if I call these primary professional skills marks, if I say these salient professional skills marks, there are other skills marks, skills which you must demonstrate, which may not be specifically asked, but these skills are so important. Skills like digital acumen.
Okay.
You have to function you have to be a millennial, you know. You have to be relevant to today. When you are answering ACCA questions as a student, make sure you are relevant. You are relevant. I always like Grace when what we were speaking last time. Remember we said most students, they don't even know if you say point of sale. What is point of sale? They don't even know that. And you wonder such a student is at strategic professional level. Most students, they don't even know what how can a website be a source of big data for a company? In other words, how can a company exploit, modify, make its website better to generate intelligence, to acquire customers, to retain customers, to expand customer base, and to usher itself into a source of being of competitive advantage. Students may not even know that, but clearly a student is. So what ACCA is looking at when we are saying digital acumen, data analysis, what ACCA is looking at, ACCA is looking at a student who knows that the operational landscape for most businesses, not all, for most businesses, operational landscape has changed. There is pivotal shift towards irreversible digitalization. There is that shift towards that. So even if I say mining, even if you're into mining, you know, mining, you can say, how can technology be used in mining? You now know. There is now Internet of Things, where equipment and robotics are being used as miners. They will be sending data, getting, you know, instead of just having a gadget which tells you where the mineral is. Now robots are equipped with that. They'll be sending to a control center information where the belt is going, and they'll be digging in that direction. Robotics, and a robot operating a digging machine in a mine without even human involvement. Tracking the belt where it's going, and those things which needed personnel, they are now done by interconnected gadgets through automation and stuff. Internet of Things. Why have I chosen mining? Because you may think digitalization or use of technology in businesses, does it have limitations? Yes, it does have limitations, but look at how pervasive and far-reaching it can go. If we can go through even to mining. So which business you can think of is immune to digitalization? Retail businesses, look at Amazon. You may say grocery business, Amazon.
Yes.
Yes. Amazon has got warehouses where robots are packing goods 24/7. Robots. Delivering them to packing them to trucks and getting delivered. And now in Norway, there is now the drivers can now operate their trucks from home. You'll be a truck driver and you'll be given a gadget to operate your truck from your sofa, and it's delivering goods to 600 kilometers away, driving it from here. So you'll be working. So if you close your eyes, you can see that there is a pivotal shift towards irreversible digitalization. And companies which survive the day are the relevant companies. And ACCA now is equipping you as a student to display digital acumen, meaning add value in that area in a manner which is authoritative, not merely persuasive to your line managers. Let an ACCA member be shining. That's the issue. So any exam which involves technology and you mess it up at a strategic level, whether it's audit, you don't figure out which audit procedures can be undertaken here because you are blinded on technological issues, whether it's even business risks, which technologies, which this business model changes, the business model are bringing, and business risks which are posed, you can't even figure them out. With ACCA exams, you need to defer your exam registration if you've got issues with technology, because you won't be you won't be a relevant student, to be precise. But how do you know that you have got issues with technology? If you have enrolled for ACCA exam and you don't even have a smartphone, I don't know, Sebit, are we talking with about an ACCA student?
Yeah, well, we are not.
You don't even have a smartphone. You are not in any WhatsApp group because you don't believe in groups. You are not on any Facebook group, any social media group.
Mm-hmm. You are
I don't know.
With,
You know what?
With it also.
You know what? Coca-Cola, even up to today, is still engaged in social media. Check Coca-Cola.
Mm.
If Coca-Cola is believing in digitalizing, so what's your excuse of thinking you can just if Coca-Cola believes that if it doesn't digitalize, people will not buy its Coke. Imagine how established the company is. Everyone knows its visibility all over in shops. Where you turn your eye, you find Coke, but still it believes in moving with trends, staying ahead of the game, digitalizing, Internet of Things, etc., exploiting big data through big data analytics and stuff to remain competitive. If Coca-Cola can still do that, even if a football team can even digitalize. So what's the persuasion of a student to get to an exam with a deficiency in digital acumen? Right. Data analysis. Now, these skills like data analysis, they are espoused in ethics and professional skills module, the module that I've said. You know, there is actually a topic number 5, 6, or 6 through to 8 in the ethics and professional skills module. It's on data analysis. Make sure you notice I flagged this module in red, meaning its importance can never be overemphasized. Then then there is professional skills. This skill, not professional skills, but professional skill. Now, this skill now this skill is the way you say things. Do you say things like a professional person? It's not how you if you are presenting something to board members, how you structure, how you put together your stuff and present it. Do you put it together like a normal human being at board level? That's a professional skill. So that one is so apart from professional skills, there are other skills like what I've said. These are now professional skills: evaluation, skepticism, analysis, communication, and commercial acumen. And these skills we will be applying them or demonstrating them as we revise. Finally, on application is the issue of you know, I may not need to type it, but let me just say it. At professional skills level, we don't give marks for definition. And unfortunately, you know what distinguishes an accountant ACCA exempt from a degree is that when you were doing degrees, you were given marks for remembering. You know, in degree, you say prepare consolidated statement of financial position. And if you can only know that it is like this, it is like this, it is like this, it is like this, through to balancing, you know that you are going to get the full 25 marks, because those marks you can get them even if you don't know how it is in practice, but you can remember what it looks like. So academic exams, you could get full 25 marks for remembering. Now, professional accountants exams, ACCA, CIMA, CIS, we know for sure that you don't get marks for remembering. You get marks for application. So you will be given a simulated business scenario. And you must function in that business, not to function as a CCA student. Function in that business, not to function as a CCA student. Meaning, take a role in that business, and then discharge your role as expected by your line managers or directors of the company. So with that in mind, that you are functioning in that business, clearly you can see that you can't be given marks for definition. Imagine Grace is our business development manager here, and Grace is explaining to us, say, a simple thing like niche market. And then instead of explaining niche market to us, is now saying niche market is when a company focuses on a identified market or market segment. You are defining it, Grace. Remember, there's an IT director here who doesn't even know the definition even after you have defined it. But if it's a restaurant, Grace would say, have you noticed that there's a lot of Chinese in the vicinity? There's a lot of Chinese here. Why can't we then just focus on, put more resources on Chinese cuisines, Chinese menus? And in so doing, Grace has explained niche marketing to us. Not defining it, after defining it, she was confusing us. But after applying niche marketing to us, we are now saying, I'm getting out of the meeting without even knowing the definition of niche marketing, but already we are into niche marketing.
Exactly.
I like it. So can you imagine, you are busy defining Porter's 5 forces model to an examiner when you are doing APM. Do you think you will ever get marks for that? You are busy defining BCG matrix, what a product life cycle is. I don't know. So, no, for sure, like this. When you are doing academic exams, you are getting marks for that. Now, for professional accountants exams, we don't give you marks for defining something to us unless it is specifically asked to define. Otherwise, expect no credit for that. We don't give marks for stating as that I'm going to use BCG model. I'm going to use pastel model, which includes political, economic, social. We expect you to know that at a strategic professional level. I'm going to use Porter's diamond model. No. So what you then have to do is know for sure that marks are given for application. What do I mean by application? Are you able to relay that which you know from a model to a real life business environment in a manner that all other directors can understand? That's application. Are you able to utilize that technical skill that you have in informing strategy, in shaping strategy for the organization in an actionable, realistic, and feasible way? So all we want is you to apply. We don't want you to define. So don't get to the exam with that in mind. And this applies to all strategic level exams. Application is more important than even definition, than even anything. Application is more important. So all these skills, basically, the skills, the evaluation, skepticism, analysis, communication, these skills, they border on the application. Now, I want Grace still on that before we come to applied skills. Can you also comment on the issue of typing and how this can be improved? Because most students are being timed out because they I don't know. You can take it over, Grace.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, Grace, are you there? We can hear you.
Hello, Mr.
Yes.
Mupatsi, Brighton. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
All right. Okay, so when it comes to typing, what I've noticed is that our students are failing to move on with the times. They still want that pen and paper approach. They still even get to a supermarket and get a 4-quire counter book. Whilst they want to actually sit for a strategic professional exam, let's say SBL in particular. So you then realize that they actually love to jot things down in their notebook. When they are doing their assignments, they want to write them down in their 4-quire notebooks, yet the exam is computer-based. So students then need to move away from that. It's rather better to get a 32-page A5 jotter to prepare for your ACCA SBL examination, and go to your laptop, make use of your laptop, make use of the desktop to type in, to highlight any notes that you would have had whilst Mr. Mupatsi is doing the SBL live session. So that aspect of typing from the onset of the semester, loving the monitor which has replaced the counter book, and loving the keyboard which has replaced the pen, you actually excel and your typing skills would have then improved. So it is my plea to students to move away from that old model of using, some even call them bureaus, a bureau or ballpoint. Let's move away from that as students and replace the pen with the keyboard and replace that counter book with the monitor. I'm sure it would work very well from the onset of the semester. Let's not reserve that for the last month.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Grace. And as ACCA, there's a lot of platforms which you can use to actually improve your typing skills. The practice platform. You know, ACCA has got practice platform.
Yes.
If you go to your My ACCA portal, under my qualification, there's a tab which says access the practice platform. Click on that and then attempt questions using the practice platform. It's a platform which mimics the actual exam that you are going to get. It mimics the actual CBE exam. If you've got issues, there is a video on the practice platform which helps you to navigate through the platform. ACCA sends communications to you as students, various communications if you check your emails, where they implore on you to access the practice platform. Principally, now that you are in the revision phase, make sure you'll be checking your emails. Another thing is, as colleges nowadays, especially Artlands resources, we have a digital learning platform which is 24/7. You know, the first intuition learning management system, which we consummated in partnership. And I'm sure your colleagues are having a lot of fun on that platform because they are getting prepared well in advance to the platform. But we know that most of you are not even attempting questions. You are just going through the platform, nodding your head and moving on without even typing. Oh, okay, so that was the answer. And you are seeing everything is typed there, but you are not even taking effort to compare your typed answer with the typed answer with the typed marking scheme on the platform. And don't think we are not seeing that. We are seeing that. And the proliferation of videos on the internet, it's not a bad thing that you've got access to quite a lot of materials, but let not playing of videos replace your typing. Because you may be playing videos the whole day or the whole week without even a single day when you are typing. You know, the structurization of videos on Artlands First Intuition Learning Platform, at each stage on those segmented videos, you'd notice we do have to-do list. We give you an assignment. Now go to the question bank and attempt this question. That's where Grace was saying, make use of your laptop, of your desktop, of your keyboard. Never jot down using never write the answers in a counter book. So how do you go about it? You just say, if you are doing AFM practice, one Word document and one Excel document is enough. Question number 22, the aspect which needs Word typed, the aspects which need Excel on Excel. So that if you have got that model, you can now have, you can have a huge Word document. After typing, you now open the marking scheme on the study platform. You review it by marking your typed answer, not the answer which is here. And then if you say, oh, say I'm not able to mark, I don't know how I can objectively ascertain marks, there is a debriefing video. We do have debriefing videos. So you then play the debriefing video to get the main points that we were looking for, the best approach to answer this question, the sources of easy marks, the common pitfalls that students make. All these are populated on the platform. No wonder why we encourage you to register with Artlands resources for revision, because it becomes more efficient now with limited time. We are now able to efficiently apply that. There's a lot on offer, and Grace normally communicates with you on flyers. Make sure when you are given a flyer, you are reading everything that is on the flyer. You are reading everything on the flyer. Don't just say, oh, we do SBO once per week with Mr. Mupatsi. There's a digital learning platform which is 24/7, where we have populated platinum content, platinum videos, platinum notes, platinum debriefing sessions, and all you have to do is to be serious. All you have to do is to be serious. If you are not serious, you have to Google time management. Go on YouTube and look for time management and videos on time management, and play videos on time management and organizing yourself. I mean, if you feel like I'm not organized, go and type organizing yourself. Type that. Type time management. How can I be organized? How can I be serious with my life? And make sure you apply that. You can't have a situation where you are writing one subject and you proceed to fail it, and you've got 1 month for revision. So what you have to do is go and Google videos on how can I be serious. Grace, aren't those videos? You can Google those, Grace, and share. How can I be serious with my life? Because there are certain marks we are seeing here which totally display lack of seriousness. So just be rude with yourself. Go and Google, how can I be serious with my life? Right, so Grace helps them, Google them also, and share also periodically with students. How can I be serious? How can I best manage time? How can I be efficient? Even if you are saying pressures of work, some excuses that you are having a lot of work pressure, it's a sign of also not being organized even with your work itself. So it is starting from your work through to your school. At this level, there is no need for you to consider school as not part of your work. Actually, if you are doing strategic professional exams, the lectures and the schoolwork is part of your work. So if you are saying I'm busy at work, I'm not finding this time for this, it's a sign of not being organized. You are considering school as a side thing. So Grace will be sending you videos on how can I be serious with my life? How can I actually be serious? I'm putting it in a manner that can provoke you to think. I know there's a proper way of saying it, but how can I be serious with myself? At least that one hits the point home. Now, Sebiza, you wanted to say something. You said it yesterday. You said, how are we supposed to view an exam? Are we supposed to view an exam as an exam, or an exam is part of your work?
Yes, part of work.
I like the Sebiza. When you said it, you know what Grace Sebiza said?
Yes.
There is need to view an exam as part of an assignment from a job, from my company.
True.
That way, because this is how he puts it. He says, In the exam, you are actually told that you are an audit manager. You'll be told that in the exam, meaning we should not view such an instruction like I'm a candidate for ACCA. It's like it's like you are an audit manager. So from that moment, you are not a student. You are actually working in a company, isn't it? Well, is that it, service, right?
That's actually true.
Yes, you are actually working from that moment when they say you are a chief business analyst. From that moment, you are no longer an ACCA candidate. You are actually working in a company. Now, the question that comes now, Grace, is if I then say I am working in a company, because I've been specifically told that I am an audit manager, so I'm working in a company. And my assignment here is worth 100 marks. And yes, I leave 50 marks unanswered. Am I really normal?
No, definitely not.
Why is it so? What was the reason for me to applying for the job? When my first task in the company, I'm leaving 20, I'm submitting to directors who have hired me just now. I'm submitting to them work which is 70% done. And the unfortunate thing is I proceed to submit. I'm sure let us view an exam that way. If the examiner says you are the accountant, let us from that moment function like an accountant. And clearly, an accountant is hired after an application for the job, after a series of job interviews, after satisfying the interviewers that you are the right candidate, and then we give you one first task. You are now the business analyst, and you are to prepare a report to the board. Imagine you have been interviewed, you have satisfied the interview, you have actually applied for the job, and this is now the job. And what we get now in that particular job is your first task is work which is 75% done. The other 25% of what we really wanted for you to do is not done. You may say, that's the gravity of what you are displaying to examiners. That's how gravely irregular your candidature is to examiners. We have hired you and we have given you the first task, and we haven't said you are an ACCA student. We said you are an audit manager, and the first task we give you as a company, you are giving us back 75% done. Imagine the irregular nature of your makeup as an employee. So would you want to give you pass? If you can sense now that, oh, it appears. So that's the gravity of it. Don't say ACCA is there to ACCA, they really want you to pass, but clearly how you are doing it is unbecoming of an ACCA member. Okay, Grace, I'm not saying Sebiza perhaps is having internet issues. So what are your concluding remarks to make it just an hour-long thing? Because
all right. Okay, so yes, I also had to speak about how students can effectively pass their applied skills subjects. Okay, so in terms of applied skills subjects, the good thing, like Mr. Mupatsi said before, our students have lots of resources that they can make use of. But the challenge that we are facing with the students is they are not managing their time effectively. They are taking ACCA, like you said, as a side thing. It's like a side hustle. It's like something that they are doing. It's not really important, but it's part of their life, and they just need to be educated. So that is the danger that we are then facing with these students, whereby they are not utilizing all the resources that are available. You mentioned our first intuition platform, which is available 27, meaning that you can access the platform when your internet is quite stable. One thing that I know in Zimbabwe is, yes, we have internet challenges, but it's not a 24-hour thing. From 10 p.m. till 5 a.m. in the morning, the internet is quite stable. So that's the time you can make use of the platform. At the same time, you realize that's the time at home when you realize that the kids are now sleeping, you have had your supper, you've bathed, and there's silence in the neighborhood. And the good thing is electricity will now be back. So you realize that the majority of the students, they have more of excuses than actionable steps that they are taking. So the first institution platform that we have, if it's used effectively, you will never fail your applied skills examination, because you prepare for the exam from the beginning of the semester. A very good example is, suppose you are doing financial reporting. Once you finish the first chapter for financial reporting, there are topical computer-based exam questions that are available that mimic the real exam. So what is it that you then need as a student to pass? At the same time, we have the Artlands practice computer exam, whereby you then fuse the spreadsheet skills and the word processing skills to then do the typing. So there's nothing really that can give you an excuse of where you're failing, except that you are not utilizing the resources that are available. We even have, suppose you have challenges with Microsoft Excel. On our first institution platform, we have free Excel courses for our students, very detailed. And the good thing is you can repeat and repeat the lectures. Once done, there's that bonus of even getting a certificate. So you realize that the resources are plenty, and we have resources that are current with the ACCA syllabus. But that aspect of not managing the times effectively is what's missing. So let's not really wait for the last minute. We still have ample time. July is not yet over. I know it's going to be over on Sunday, but we still have some few 24 hours in the remaining days of July. Let's make sure that we have a timetable that is prepared for personal study. Let's make sure that we have the right frame of mind as we get into our intensive revision phase. So you realize that in a student like Susan, you remember you mentioned student one, a student like Susan is waiting for a miracle for the exam. So let's not be Susan, student number one, who doesn't even really know what the examiner really wants, who really hasn't practiced enough for the exam, not having done the mocks, the full mocks that are going to be available to our students, and not submitting the assignments that will be requested by the tutors. That's what makes us come up with a Susan, student one, who knows quite a lot, but does not know how to then approach the exam. So it is my plea that that lazy approach, I'm sorry, I have to say lazy, that our students have, that's not the caliber of an ACCA student. You really need to make sure that you are geared and you're good to go and you're in the right frame of mind, and utilize all the resources that are available for you at very discounted rates. So I'll also be making sure that on our Facebook page, please make sure that you like our Facebook page. From now going forward, we'll be posting weekly motivational techniques and how to manage time effectively, and anything that can even make you a proper or a normal student. because you cannot be a chartered certified accountant who does not meet the caliber that ACCA wants. So yeah, those are my closing remarks. Let's not wait for miracles. Let's use the right methods of study. The exams are now computer-based examinations. Make sure you are moving in line with that, because this is not reversible. This is not reversible. We are digitizing. So we have to make sure that you as a student are also prepared for that. That's what ACCA requires from you. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mupatsi.
Okay. Thanks, Grace. And I'm sure if you had your next steps, find us and make sure you can personally request some things on WhatsApp. The numbers we shall actually give you the numbers in the description to this video, where you can get in touch. And Grace mentioned something so important. She said she mentioned the issue of mocks. There is actually positive correlation between passing and doing mocks, and these mock exams should be timed. You don't just do a mock exam because it's a mock exam. Make sure it's timed. If your exam is 3 hours, make sure your mock is also 3 hours. So at Artlands Resources, we have got 3 mocks. So if you are writing mocks, it's like you are writing exam 3 times before you get to the actual exam. So 3 mocks which are timed, and we have got debriefing videos or debriefing sessions in the mock where we teach you a lot progressively. So doing the mocks, you are going to do them perhaps from mid-August. The mocks help you to identify knowledge gaps, plug these gaps on the go, and boost your confidence. And research has shown that there is a positive correlation between a student who does the mock and doing a student who does the mock and passing. We have got a 90% pass guarantee. If you do the mock, doing the mock, not attempting the mock, doing the mock. Because some may just attempt and do section A and say, I've done the mock. In what way have you done the mock? So we get reports that I say, please do mock 1 this week, and someone just do 3 questions on mock 1. Once you do that, you don't have another option to do it because it automatically activates your marking scheme. It's not so you can now access the marking scheme. You have to do the mock like you're in an exam. 3 hours, set aside 3 hours, finish the mock, and then submit. Once it submits, actually if time is up, it submits automatically. And then on the top left and right hand corner of your screen, you then go to mark exams, and the marking scheme appears. Now you mark it for multiple choice parts of the questions. They are marked automatically, so there are debriefs, there are reviews on each question as to why the option was wrong, was correct, etc. And then on section C and strategic professional level, we do have debriefing sessions where you mark. We have a marking scheme which helps you how to allocate marks. It's populated again on the platform. And then if you have difficulties with that, we have debriefing sessions which you can now play and help you then to actually appreciate areas you might have gone wrong. Okay, so it's perfect. So this video is available online, as you can see, and it's shareable. Share with your colleagues, and I'm sure it helps. And I said this is the first installment as we wrap up or mobilize ourselves. We have wrapped up the syllabus, and now we are mobilizing ourselves into revision. If you want to enroll for revision, please get in touch with Grace. Your number is plus 263 775 2. Okay, it's what, Grace, your number?
Okay, plus 263 775 22 66 91. I'm going to repeat again. Plus 263 775 22 66 91. Alternatively, you can call on our landline 0242 749 220. I'm going to repeat the landline again. +263 0242 749 220. Alternatively, you can email us on info at artlandsresources.com. So that's info at artlandsresources.com. Thank you.
Okay. So that's it, team. Bye.
Bye-bye.